Hi, awesome humans. This is a recap of our lesson today, and this is for you in case you missed class for any reason or just need a review of what we did. And because this is a video, you can pause it at each task and then continue. So it's like your own personal tutor, I guess. And so without further ado, let's get metacognitive. And your first question is going to be, what is metacognitive? Well, metacognitive is just an awareness and an understanding of your own thought process. Like, how did you get to this conclusion? Why do you think this? It's just about thinking about your own thoughts, which is very meta. So your first task, and you'll want to pause here, is I want you to think about the short story we read most recently, which is The All-American Slurp by Lindsay Mamioka. And I want you to draw 3 to 5 objects that are important in the story. Okay, I want you to really think, go back and reread or skim the story and pick out objects that are important. Okay, and I'm going to use, all of my examples are going to be from A Long Walk to Water because we all read that together, so it should be fairly familiar. Okay, so if I was going to draw things, I would draw Uncle Jabir's gun, I would draw the Nile River, and I would draw the thorn that Naya steps on, because I think those are all important objects in the story. But you could also draw the smoke, the desert itself, lions, okay? So make sure to label each image as well. And you can do this on the computer, or you can do this on a piece of paper. But this is your first task. Okay, now that you are back, let's talk a little bit about objects, common objects. So what do these objects mean? This first one here, this green one, is what? It's a 4-leaf clover. And when we think of 4-leaf clovers, we usually think of luck, right? This next image here, this red one, it's a heart. And what do we think of when we think of hearts? Love. Okay. So what are these and other objects like these? They're called symbols, right? We know this. We saw where this was going, I think. So symbols are something that represents an idea. It is basically a physical object, that's something that you can touch, that represents an idea or a feeling or a thought, something that you can't touch. Now, there are different kinds of symbols, right? So these colors, for example, this is black, and black in Western culture is associated with death, right? Our Grim Reaper wears black. Night is something to be afraid of. Usually ghost stories happen at night. And then we have white, right? So white in Western culture is a sign of purity. If you're Catholic and you've had your first communion, you wear white. Brides tend to wear white. White is a sign of angels usually wear white. But I'm going to blow your mind here. In Eastern culture, white is a symbol, as a color that means death. And that's partially because of spirits and ghosts are seen as white. And like when you die, there's no blood flow, so your skin looks white and you turn pallid. So corpses are associated with this color as well. Let's try another one. Red. Okay, so in Western culture, that's our culture, red is associated with passion, violence, right? Blood. But in Eastern culture, red is a lucky color. In many Eastern cultures, brides wear red, or money is put in red envelopes on New Year's. I'm thinking specifically of China and India, where brides wear red. And in China, on Lunar New Year, they traditionally put money in red envelopes with gold writing on it, and it's supposed to bring you wealth in the future. So this is called color symbolism. And this is just when colors represent ideas or feelings. However, in a text, it's a little bit different. So in a text, how characters feel or react to the object is how they feel or react to the idea it represents. So something that might be a symbol in a text isn't necessarily a symbol to you. So for example, if I feel anxious when I see Christmas trees, and say I'm a character in a book, Christmas trees make me anxious. So Christmas trees represent anxiety for that character. In a little bit, I'll give you some examples. And this leads me to your second task, and this is the second place where you'll want to pause and complete this task. So you're going to write 3 sentences about each of the objects you drew. Okay? And so let's say that the Nile River was something I chose from A Long Walk to Water. All right? So I'm going to say, the Nile River makes Salva feel anxious, right? He's anxious about crossing it. Salva needs help to travel through the Nile River. He does, because he doesn't know how to make boats, so he helps bring all those reeds to the people who do know how to make boats. And my third sentence is, the group survives the Nile River. That is true. They do. Okay? So pause here and write 3 sentences for each of the objects that you drew. Okay? And don't overthink it. Make them statements, not questions. Okay, now that you're back, these are my examples. Okay, so these 3 sentences here are the examples from the previous slide. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to switch out the object for what it represents. So the Nile River makes Salva feel anxious becomes adversity makes Salva feel anxious. Right? It does, because it's something that he has to overcome. Salva needs help to travel through the Nile River becomes Salva needs help to travel through adversity. He does need help to travel through adversity. Without his uncle, he may not have made it. And my third sentence, the group survives the Nile River, becomes the group survives adversity. They do. They make it to the refugee camp. Right? Can you think of another sentence that makes sense to go along with the Nile River now that you know what we're turning it into? Think about it. The third type of symbols I want to talk about are universal symbols. Universal symbols are symbols that appear through multiple cultures and times, and they tend to mean the same thing. Okay? They might not mean exactly the same thing in every culture, but they are fairly close in meaning, at least. So some examples would be mountains. Mountains represent obstacles because you have to climb a mountain to get to the other side. I think Miley Cyrus even sings The Climb, which is about a mountain, and that is a symbol for that obstacle. Fire is another one. Fire is a purifier. People walk through fire to purify themselves. And if you think about it, like literally, if you have to perform surgery in the wild, you would make the metal, you would put it in fire and purify it so it's clean, right? And a lot of the times, especially in mythology or fiction and texts, fire represents a purification of a character. Think about Game of Thrones when Khaleesi walks through the fire to get her dragons, or I'm trying to think of something that you guys might know. But I can't think of anything right now, so I'm just going to move on. Another example of this is a flowing river, like the Nile, symbolizes adversity, right? So I kind of cheated on that a little bit. I used a universal symbol, so I already knew the meaning behind it when I was writing those sentences. And then another example would be the sun. So the sun represents like the end of trouble, or gaining knowledge, and those are all examples of universal symbols. All right, so try to stay away from these symbols when you're drawing things from All-American Slate. And that's the end of the presentation. I'd like to see how you did, so bring your work in or submit it where I gave you the option to do that on Google Classroom. And I will see you folks when you come back to class. Good work, team. Woo! All right, that's still long. Oh, over down. Roger, Roger, 10-4.